Your thoughts aren't random. Your thoughts are rehearsed. And why do I say it like that? I start off with a statement because when I start with a statement, it stops you in your tracks and it gets you to think. At least that's what I find when it happens to me. So let's think about the statement for a second. Your thoughts aren't random, it is rehearsed. It is a pattern way of thinking that you've been doing for most probably your whole life. People have influence at school, teachers, programming, social media, friends. It all comes down to a specific way of thinking. So if you don't have what you want, if you don't have the freedom, you don't have the time, you don't have the location, you don't have the things that you want, the first step I would say is to go and look at how you think. So if it is not by random but by patterns and by rehearsed way of thinking, the correct way of thinking looks like, I don't know, because for most of us we're so used to 40, 50, 60 years thinking a specific way that now it becomes a little bit like sit back and think, well, how do we actually think and why is this stuff not taught to us? So if you think correctly, you would be thinking in systems. Whereas if your thinking is not so correct, you might find that you repeat suffering over and over again. So, what I want you to think about is the way you have been thinking has been trained. Good or bad, no bad intention. People do the best that they can do into teaching us how we should think or what we should be doing. But this isn't a lesson we actually received from school. This isn't a lesson where you got a specific lesson. Claire, let's sit down and think. This is how we think. So if you're new here, my name is Claire, and the Freedom Hub community is all about the pleaser and giver and building ourselves from here to here, but the highest version of ourselves, not only in our lives and our family life, but also in our business. And from that place, birth and STEM system that gives us time, money, and location freedom. And I hope that you're going to enjoy our time together as we learn and discover and figure out the correct way of thinking, the correct business strategies, and the correct systems that give you this kind of freedom. So, coming back to the way of thinking, there's two types of thinkers in the world. The one, reactive. You know this person. You might be the person. And it says, or he or she says this. One day when my business takes off, this or that, and I would feel. Or I can't wait for this person to come into my life so that this, that, or the other can happen. Or I'm just going to wait for proof. And when I have proof, then I will see and try it out. Now, I want you to go back in time and think about all the inventions of life, whatever you like, a car, a plane, the electricity light bulb. How about an appliance? If somebody came in with a, I'll wait for proof, we wouldn't have any of those things. If somebody said, I will wait to see, and then if 100,000 people use it and it works for them, then I would try it. You're going to be waiting a long time. And by then you could have been making millions. So it's just something to think about. I like to call it stinking thinking, because that's exactly where I found myself. For 40, 50 years, I had a stinking mentality when it came to thinking. But what I do want to tell you is that when you can create a mindset that isn't reactive, but creative, the second type of person, right? You will find that you decide first what you want. And then everything follows from that. You build systems to create from that. Now, all of a sudden, you get to the handful of people that have made a difference in life. So, for a second, what I want you to do is I just want you to think, who do you know that's made a big difference in the world? Who do you know in your family who's made a big difference in the world? Think about yourself. Have you made a difference in the world? Now I want you to think about the person who's invented and actually done something brilliant. Think of a family member and now think about yourself. What were the different ways of thinking between these people? And this is going to give you a great idea as to, is my thinking correct or is my thinking not so correct? So let's quickly look at some of the different ways how the two would think. The reactive person, the reactive person usually emotion first, like I'm going to react when something happens, and then logic follows. All right. Now, the creative person is principle first, and then the emotion comes after. So, whereas I'm going, I don't like this because, all right, versus principle. What do I like, and how can I create that? It's a little shift, but it's a big, big difference. A second one is the reactive person might be going, I'll believe it when I see it. You know the person. You can actually see the person in your mind right now. I'll believe it when I see it, person. Whereas the creative person might say, what if I see it, then only will I believe it. In other words, I'm going to create it and then I'll believe that it's working. And that's why you have somebody like Edison who would give thousands of tries before he gets it right, because he has it, when I see it, I'm going to believe it kind of thinking. And then what I want you to think about is somebody just thinking about problems all day long? Oh, they're excellent at spotting the problems, right? They're fantastic. And listen, in business, you actually want some of those people in your business because they're going to help you negate some big problems that could come in time into your business. They can actually see it up front. So it's really good to have that person. But as a strategic thinker, is it so good to have that person? Because what happens is that person usually is stuck and very seldom moves forward in life. So what you want to do is a creative person would rather go and look for patterns, where one looks for problems, other one looks for patterns. Oh, that's a pattern. If we do it differently, we can get rid of the problem. It's a complete different way of thinking. So take a deep breath, because there's a lot of stuff coming through here right now. And if you take just one or two of these, you're going to have a massive shift and a huge difference in your life. One person is very confident and comfortable and just staying stuck, where another person is so uncomfortable with being stuck that it feels like their skin is itching. They need to change. They need to make a decision. They need clarity. They need to find a way to make something work. And again, it comes to mindset and thinking. So I want you to say to yourself today, how have I been thinking? Have I been thinking like the reactive person? Or have I been thinking like the creative person? And it is okay if you find yourself in the reactive place. Totally okay. What I want you to do in that moment is just go, it's so great, I just saw the pattern. Because if you saw the pattern, guess what? You have shifted into your creative space. Once you're in your creative space, now you can start building. So good for you. Taking my hat off to you in this moment. So if you have an incorrect thought, or if you don't think correctly, right? It's not about thinking incorrectly. It was sometimes not even you didn't even notice you were thinking. It just happened on autopilot, right? And now what I want you to do is I want you to become the architect of your thoughts in this process of developing and in your process of getting bigger and greater and stronger in the path forward, wherever you're going. There's 4 pillars that's going to help you out here. And these 4 pillars have worked for me. It works for my clients. And as long as you practice it, you will get the results. And the first one is clarity. Clarity. You have to be crystal clear. For most of us, we have this. I know exactly what I don't want. I have clients that do private coaching with me, and they can list a whole hour of what they don't want. I don't want this, Claire. I don't want this. I don't want this. I don't want this. This is bad. This is bad. And I say, well, what do you want? Yeah, but I don't want this thing. Yes, what do you want? I just know I don't want this thing. Because we've been so focused on what we don't want that we actually can't see what we do want in the process. So today, grab a pen and paper, and I want you to write, what do you want? Not what does your husband and wife and child and auntie and mother and mama and dada. No. What do you want? Forget about everybody around you. Just for 1 second. I know you're a pleaser and giver, and you're giving everything of your soul to everybody right now. And this might be the first time in your life you're thinking about this. What do you want? This is an incredibly important distinction between the reactive person and the creative person. What do you want? Clarity. Get crystal clear. What do you want? Even if you think you can't achieve it, I want you to write it down. And number two, what I want you to think is I want you to calibrate your thoughts. Now, this one I found a little bit more difficult, especially for me, 50 years worth of stinking thinking, and now suddenly you want me to calibrate my thoughts. It was a little bit of a harder task. But all I'm asking is when you notice it, and it's not always going to be always, when you notice it, I want you to catch the thought and recognize the thought for what it is. It is a thought. The biggest distinction I can give you in life is you are not your thoughts. You are observing your thoughts. Let me say that again. You are not your thought. You are observant of your thoughts. And if you can have a clear distinction and just go, oh, I'm not my thoughts. I was just thinking that, and now I can pull back, observe it, recognize it, and stop that thought because it's actually harmful in my old way and patterning of thinking. I can now catch it because now I can decide, is this thought based from fear or is this thought based from fact? So if you can catch it, ask yourself this, is it fear thought or is this a fact thought? And sometimes you might not know what it is, but if you know, like now we have AI, we can use AI to our advantage. Is this really true? Now, AI is strange. AI generally agrees with you. I want you to get AI to challenge you in your thought process. Because what you want to see is my thought 100% correct? And you're going to find that generally it's not. There might be some truth to that thought in the moment, but generally you're going to find it is not what your mind said it was. Remember, you're not your mind. Your mind is doing its own thing. You are controlling your mind. You are the only one that can control and fix and work through your mindset. Nobody can do it for you. No TV program, no amount of scrolling. No, none of that can do it for you. You have to learn how to do this step by step by step. There is no quick fix. This is notice, catch. Is it truth? Is it fear? Which one is it? Okay, so that's calibrate. Number 3 is you need consistency. And this is where people fall off the bus. People go, but I've been trying this for a whole day and it doesn't work. I've been trying this for a week and it doesn't work. And I'm saying to you, did you learn to drive a car in a week? I want you to think about this carefully. Did you learn to get on a bicycle and ride it for the very first time and you were just okay and well done if you did, because most of us, we didn't. But think of something that you did. If you had to study, you had to study the same thing over and over until you could recite it, till you could say it, till if you have to stand up and say a speech in front of somebody, you didn't just read it once and you were brilliant at it. You practiced it over and over and over and over again. And people think, I'm going to try this thing and that's just it, and it has to be that way. The secret is there's no easy fix to this. If you got a difficult way of thinking, or you just been letting thoughts run your whole life and now all of a sudden you want to just be better overnight, no, you got some catching up to do. 40, 50, 60 years of catching up to do. But it is okay, because the more you notice it, the more you catch it, the more you ask, is it fear or is it truth? And then you practice it in the moment. You go, oh, that's fear. Oh, is it really true? No. Maybe partially, but it wasn't really true. What is true? Oh, other people did this. Other people managed to get through this. So that makes my mind not right in this moment. And practice it over and over and over again. And with practice comes perfection. We know that the more you practice, the more you study, the better the results. There is no just happy medium, yeah? You know it deep inside and everything's going, but it's hard. I know, but I also know if I can do it, you can do it. Of course you can. If you're sitting here and you're listening to this right now, it means you have the capacity to do it. And if you're not doing it, you don't really want it. And I said that harshly. Yes, I mean it. If you don't really want to do it and do consistency, it means, oh, I wonder, but I'm too lazy. What would you tell your child in that moment? Okay, go and sit in your room and scroll. No, you would say, get up and do it. You can do it. Of course you can. Okay, do you want the fourth pillar? Fourth pillar, creation. Creation, creation, creation. I want you to create from that space. So you had this. You had clarity. What do I want? Number two, you wanted to calibrate the thought. Is it fear? Is it truth? And now you said, oh, that was a fear thought. And now what you want to do is you want to catch it. So that's consistency. You want to practice it over and over. You want to calibrate that thought. So you want to create a new thought from that yucky thought that you just had. So that might mean something like this. I don't have time. You heard people say this? My goodness, I went through a time patch that I said that all the time. Not even noticing my words had so much influence up here. It's a whole different discussion. It's another hour video. Just what we say, the words, the pictures we see. I want you to think about this. But when you find yourself in that space where you've noticed it and now you know that you need consistency, you need to create a new thought, what you want, and that goes back to clarity. So it would look like clarity, calibrate, fear or truth going on here, consistency, and here we're creating what we actually want, and it goes straight back to clarity because you need to create from clarity. So it's a nice big circle that goes round and round and round and round all the time. So what you want to do, you want to anchor in your new thought. How do you anchor in? Because a lot of people go, oh, I'm just going to think of what I want again, I'll change a bad thought to the new thought. No, you need to anchor it in. Write it down. Put it in your diary. So if I said I didn't have time, this is what I did. I don't have time. Don't have time to do it, right? Then I caught myself. I keep saying I don't have time. Yeah, but I don't have time. Is that truth or is that fear? That's fear. That's fear, like my time's running out and there's not enough of me or not enough hours in the day. Ooh, okay. So how does somebody else do it that's running 5, 12, 20 companies? Where do they don't get given extra time. So how do they do it? You see, that's how you start thinking. And now you start catching and you start thinking about, oh, wrong thought here. Okay, now what you want to do is you know the vision, you know where you're going. You say, okay, I need more time. So what you want to do is you're going to go, you know what? I can give up scrolling at night. I can give up my favorite sitcom at night. I can give up whatever. I can be listening and learning to a podcast while I'm cooking. I can do something and I can win back 60 minutes, 30 minutes, 20 minutes, 5 minutes. Guys, you don't need a lot of time. And then what you do is you take that, the anchor moment comes in, you go put it in your diary. Go and put it in your diary. Block it out. And no matter what happens, you block it out, because here is one thing I learned. If you don't time block your diary, somebody else's problems will time block your diary, and you'll be running out there and you will be helping the whole world and its mother, while what you want to be creating is sitting on the back seat and everybody's lives go ahead, and you're looking at this and you're going, oh boy, I'm so resenting life right now. Am I speaking truth here? Can you feel into what I am saying right now? There's so much truth in this. And go and listen to this again and again and again until every single thing makes sense in your life. So I have a question for you. What thoughts are you recycling right now? I don't have enough time. I don't have enough money. Life is difficult. Life is unfair. If only my partner would. If only my boss would. If only this thing would move ahead. If only I won the lotto. What thoughts are recycling? What are the things you're hearing most often in your head? Remember, your thoughts are not you. Okay. Number 2, what I want you to ask yourself is, when you hear the voice, the thought in your head that is full of doubt, the doubtful voice, whose voice are you actually hearing? Because it's generally not yours. I hate to say it, it's generally not yours. So when a doubt thought comes up, whose voice are you hearing? It's generally somebody closest to you. It's a parent, it is a spouse or a partner, it is our old teacher or an old friend. Just want you to take notice and go, that is not my voice. And then go back into your cycle again. Clarity, calibrate, consistency, create all the time. And then what I want you to ask yourself is the following. If your mind was your business partner, like 50-50 partnership in your business, would you renew their contract next year? If you're right now, if the answer is not a chance, you've got some work to do on your mindset. You see, working on your mindset is 80% of your business, because your business is who you are. Not the business is a bunch of lots of people you have employed and you got this great idea. No, your business reflects you. Your business reflects your mindset. This is so important to grasp and understand in this minute. You've got this. You've got it. Nobody else can do this for you. Only you can do it. But it starts with the 4 pillars. So go back and start training your mind. You can't walk into a gym today and expect I'm going to do a couple of reps and come out looking wonderful, slim, full of muscles and like, oh, baby, check me out. No, you go to gym over and over. And let me tell you something. If you've been to gym, you know it's not always easy. And this is also not always going to be easy. It is so important that you stay consistent and practice over again. So I know I keep saying that, but there's a reason I'm saying that. You need to hear it. I am the reasoning voice. Okay, so if you have a reactive voice, I want you to think about it. What am I saying? What am I believing? What am I not saying? What am I not believing? These are things you need to think about. Not just I always say, the next business I start is going to be called like 2-step mind or something, because your mind goes 1 step. It just tells you and it gives you a fact, like, I'm tired. And that's where the mind stops. It doesn't go and ask, why am I tired? What am I eating? What's contributing? Did I sleep well enough? No, it just goes, I'm tired. And you go, okay. I want you to think about the things your mind is saying to you. If you get in the 2nd step, 3rd step, 4th step from what it is saying, there's some gold buried there just for you, for the taking. So if you're thinking small, I want you to start thinking in strategy. If you're thinking reaction thoughts, I want you to start designing your destiny. That is why you have this incredible, masterful, fantastic brain for you, given for you just there. So if any of this expanded your mind just a little bit, how about subscribing? Because there's a lot more of this to come, because here we build from foundations up. We don't just start building pies in the sky. We start at the bottom, we build the walls, we build a roof, and then we start building and expanding from that. And that's how you should be thinking. Till the next time, we'll see you soon. Cheerio!